all about pleasure. So, Miss Reba is coming back, and we're going to be talking about pleasure again. So, I'm excited. Are you ready, Miss Reba? Okay. And we are going to get it poppin'. And I got my book. Because I'm ready. Let me get my wine ready. Hey, gorgeous. Oh, I gotta make your flyer. That's what I was supposed to do today too. Forgot about that. Need to get on that. So we're just waiting for Miss Reba to come in. And this conversation, first of all, have your books ready. Have your books ready. Have your books ready. Because this is going to be a time where you need to write down the information. So I had my book ready from last week. And now I have this book for this week. So we are going to get this on and popping. And let me see if we can get Miss Reba in here so we can get this party started. And again, make sure you get your books. Hey, gorgeous.
Hey, hey.
I got my book. Let me get my wine.
There we go. Wait, I got my wine too. Let me top it up.
You got your wine. Hey, Ray. Ray is here. Ray, you got your wine? You got your wine from yesterday? So this conversation is like from last week. We were going and going and going and going and going.
And going and
so,
going and going
listen,
and going. Like, when we get together, we can't stop. So
we can't stop. But I think that these conversations, like I was saying with Lita, and with Ray too, because I had a really good conversation with Ray last night as well.
Yeah,
like like these conversations need to be had, especially by Black women, because we don't have them, which we talked about when we first started.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna let you go ahead. I'm gonna get my sip on while you it's your show.
Oh, well, no, look, so today I think we're just going to continue the conversation. I think we can just wrap it up. Like, I know we had a lot of questions the last time,
We
right?
did.
And so definitely answer any of the questions you guys need answered. But also we want to just make sure that we're giving you some tools, right? And so some tools that we have today are 4 ways that you can keep it 4 things to try to keep it sexy during quarantine, right? And so this one, I have 4. Do you have 4? Or were we doing this together, or was it just me? I'm sorry.
We could listen. I got 12. Okay, I have 12.
Good.
First of all.
Okay.
But you're the expert.
Well, so the first thing I'm gonna say is masturbate, right? Hey, Ethan. Yeah. But I'm always gonna say masturbate. 4 things you can try especially if you've never masturbated before. You need to masturbate. And the reason why I say that is because when you masturbate, you really do get in tune with what it is that you like, what it is that brings you pleasure, and it makes it that much easier for you to say to your partner, okay, this is what I like. This is how I orgasm when I'm by myself. So, it's an eye opener for everyone. And believe it or not, like if you're somebody who was like, well, I used to masturbate when I was younger and I don't really need to masturbate anymore because I know how my pleasure works. Your pleasure has changed from when you were a teenager to when you were in your 20s to when you were in your 30s to in your 40s and in your 50s.
Mm-hmm.
Our pleasure changes, our bodies change, and when you masturbate, you stay in tune with what that pleasure looks like. So
that is true. Do you want me to give one, or you want to go do yours?
Yeah, what would you do? Like, give me, because girl, I got my own, but I'm also here for ideas.
I'm a researcher. Like, I listen. I research, and then I have bullet points under each thing because that's just how my mind works.
Yes.
So I was
under those bullet points. Yes, I'm here for that. Yes.
So I was coming from it more of the first one was just like focus on intimacy. If I was coming from it from like a couple standpoint, because I think that's one thing right now because everyone is in such close quarters. Like you just are just probably mad at that person right now for no reason. You just be like, can you stop breathing? Like, why are you breathing so hard?
Yeah.
Can you not do that? So I think now is like the perfect time to focus on the different levels of intimacy, because there are different levels. So definitely there could be outside of sex, like really talking about your dreams, maybe talking about, what spirituality is to you, and where you see yourself and this person moving forward. What are your dreams that you have, as individuals, and then together as a couple, or even if you're like, you and your friend, and you guys are just, your roommate or whatever, and you can still have these conversations, and it could be, intimacy.
Yeah, very
Yeah.
much. I mean, and so I think you hit on something that I was talking about on a podcast I was on earlier this week, and it is the fact that women, we are so socialized to show affection and intimacy
Mm-hmm.
through talking, right? But if you're a
Mm-hmm.
man
Mm-hmm.
who loves men, then you might be someone who shows intimacy through, then your partner might be someone who shows intimacy through um, physical touch, right? Because men are not
Yeah.
really taught, they're not socialized to talk about their feelings. They're socialized to be more
Mm-hmm.
physical creatures. And so you hear a lot of men say, oh, my love language is physical touch. And that's because that's how they experience intimacy. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So you kind of have to learn, we all have to learn how to speak each other's languages. And so, yeah, intimacy for you might be talking about your feelings, but also like intimacy might be just cuddling for 30 minutes for your partner. So exploring what both verbal and nonverbal intimacy could look like in your relationship, I think that's a great idea for sure.
Yeah. I love that. The love language quiz. Totally forgot about that one. You could take that. They have one for apologies now too.
Yeah,
Like,
so that,
what's your apology style? That's
yeah.
right now. Some of y'all need that.
I definitely,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. I mean, we're doing a lot of
Mm-hmm.
healing right now. So
Yeah,
yes, for sure, for sure.
definitely. All right. What's your next one?
All right, so my next one, in terms of things to try, and I think you kind of hit on it when we were talking about, what we could talk about today, and that's role
Mm-hmm.
play. Like if you've never tried a little role play, now is the time to get imaginative, okay? Especially since you
Mm-hmm.
are in the house. There's a lot of like, little role play scenarios that you can do, especially if you're, when the kids are, if you got kids, put the kids to bed, make sure they sleep and the door is locked. But like, pizza delivery man is really fun. Or like boudoir photographer, especially after them pictures was taken. And I was like, oh, let me be the photographer. I was like, okay, let's do it. But there are a lot of different ways that like role plays that you can just create to kind of keep it spicy too.
That is true. And I mean, right now, you have a whole closet. Like, you literally have a whole closet of shit that you could put on or take off. My sisters are here. Hey, sisters. Hey, everyone. Thank you
Hey.
for joining us tonight. But yeah, like, get something together. Like, these
Yes.
TikToks that I've seen. Have you seen the TikToks where the women will go, like take a shower or something, and then have their robe on, and then come out and then drop or throw their robe? Somehow the men are always playing like video games. I don't know what that's
In the
about, but
background.
anyway, yeah, like they're always playing video games, and then they
Mhm.
drop the robe or they throw the robe, and then it's like, I gotta go. Like, I gotta go. Like, even that,
Yes.
like that,
Yeah. No, doing a fun TikTok. Yes. Yes, for
yes.
sure.
Keep it
Yes.
PG. Some of y'all, listen, everybody's in the house right now, so they will
Well,
be
no,
checking your stuff.
there's this one TikTok where the people are doing it, and it's like in the beat it goes boom boom, and people are doing like that on people's boobs. I told my kids, I was like, let me tell y'all something. You do this, and the second beat is gonna get you smacked. Okay, like we're not doing that. We're not. We're not. So like, just be tasteful. Be tasteful. This is the internet.
That's funny.
So.
All right. My second one was to play a game. Like,
Oh,
literally play a game. Like, if you have Uno, you could take the Uno cards. You could do like strip Uno if you don't know how to play poker, because I
yeah.
don't. Or I would say if you have enough people, you could do spades, but I don't even know you could play spades with two people. So, but Uno, you could take, if you have if you have children, or if not, if you have dice, you can actually take the dice and say, each number, decide what each number represents. Like, oh, I have to do X, Y, and Z. I have to, I don't know, lick this. I have to take this article of clothing off. So you could make up your own
Oh
games
yeah.
based on what you have available.
And if you don't have any of that available, there's this really great company
Mm-hmm.
called the Tango Kit. And it's run by my friend Candace, who is an amazing entrepreneur, but also there are various kits with games that couples can play. And I swear, when I say
Mm-hmm.
games, I mean they are really fun. Like, she sent me one, she has an oral sex box, and it's like a bunch of games to just learn different approaches for giving fellatio and cunnilingus. And so that one was really fun. Like, it was really like, we found ourselves laughing a lot, and that's not something that you really see during intimate moments or sensual sexual moments when you see on TV, but like, it really kind of lightened the mood a lot and helped us really explore what we like and what we don't. And things have gotten, not that they needed to get better, but things have gotten like even better than I thought they could have been after playing these
Mm-hmm.
games. So the
So you said
Tango
it's the
Kit, I
Tango.
will, yeah, I'm gonna put it in the thing here.
Thank you. Because I'm going to blog about this too. So I want to make sure I put that in there. So I like that. Okay. And what's your next one? Once you
um
get that.
Yeah, hold on. Let me put this in. Tango. I think it's not coming up, so I'm hoping I'm doing this right. If not, I will put her in my stories.
Okay.
If I
And I
find
can do
it.
the same.
Yeah.
I'll put it right in the blog actually, because I'm going to do a blog about all of this.
Yeah. I
Okay. I see
actually
it
don't think
at the
that's it.
thing.
I actually don't think that's it, but I will find it when we leave here, and I'll let you guys see it. But I
Okay.
love that thing. She's got like a bunch of different ones, just based on whatever you like. She's even got like a solo one. She's got a healing
Hmm.
one. So if you're like just really looking to do some sexual exploration, I think those are really good. And actually, that was one of the things that was on my list. Was the Tango Kits, trying out like some new sexual fun games. Um,
Hmm.
because I think it's one thing to like play a game, right? Like Uno or poker or another thing, but it's also like another thing entirely to focus specifically on pleasing your partner and or pleasing yourself,
Hmm.
actually, right?
True. Very true.
So, and so I think those games, those like thoughtful, strategic games, really do help.
And they help you to focus.
Yeah, they
Like
do.
focus. Really, I think that's the biggest thing, especially with that intimacy piece, is to focus on your partner and not anything else. Like you have to turn your phone off. You have to computer, Netflix, all that is off, and
Yeah,
you're so focused on your partner.
yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
and yeah, I mean, you need that kind of focus because, like I said the last time we were talking, the biggest sexual organ inside the body is the brain. And so
Mhm.
you have got to get the brain focused on the body if you want to experience sex in a like more fulfilling, in the most fulfilling way possible, right? Our brains have got to
Mhm.
get out of the grocery list and the to-do list and what so and so said or what so and so did at work, and like really back into our sense of sight, sound, taste, touch, and smell. And that's really what sensuality is all about.
Message.
So
Well, what's your next one?
so I have another one. So people are always talking about so this is our four things to try. So this is my fourth one, right? And it was
Mhm.
BDSM. So BDSM there's levels to it, right? From bondage to power play to the more, extreme side of things. I think BDSM really does have a really cool way of helping us learn to explore what our boundaries are sexually, right?
Mhm.
So you could just start as simple as getting some handcuffs, right? Or or creating handcuffs yourself out of like some pantyhose or some a
I'm about to
necktie.
say nobody is going anywhere right now, so you
Hey,
about to get a tie or something.
hey, do what you got to do, but experiment with with bondage, meaning, so before you can even begin to like experiment with this kind of stuff, you need to set some boundaries, some ground rules. All right, what's our safe word, right? I think Kevin Hart famously said, "Oh, it's pineapples. Pineapples is our safe word," but that's a great safe word, right? You're not about to yell pineapples in the middle of sex for no reason. So, pineapples. I'll be honest, mine is tapioca. I hate tapioca. I don't eat it. I would never say it for any reason other than I don't like tapioca. so, so it's tapioca, and I think it's really important for us to, like, that's a boundary. Okay, when I experience something that I don't like, if me having my hands tied above my head doesn't feel good, I can say tapioca and it's done. Like, it's
And
there's
that's
some
it.
power in that, right? And so I think experimenting with BDSM, with bondage, with power play, with any of those things that might excite you that are outside of what we consider to be like vanilla, missionary, doggy style, wheelbarrow, spooning. It's all been done before. So if you're looking to kind of try something new, and like BDSM is super fun because you can turn almost anything into a bondage device or like a spanking device. I think about like those rubber spatulas or, oh man, like the paddle of a brush, like one of these, like this part, right? Not this part,
That's true.
obviously, not about, right here. Boom. That feels real good, right? So anyway, just playing around with sensations, power play, stuff like that.
So you just want to
Obviously,
go through
mine
my
are
list?
a lot more sexual than.
That's true. It's true. I was researching, so I was trying to make it. I was trying to give at least things that everyone could like say, okay, I could do that. I could do that. Okay, I could see myself doing that. So I will just go through my third one. Was use a toy. Like use a toy. That was my third.
Yay! Yeah,
And we
and it
talked about
doesn't.
that last week.
Yeah, so let's talk about toys for a second. So we talked about how toys don't desensitize you, right? We talked about that. Yeah, so
Mm-hmm.
let's talk about how toys are not a replacement, right? I think a lot of people are like, oh, I don't want to use a toy because I don't want my partner to think I'm trying to replace them. Or a partner's like, I don't want you to use a toy because I don't want you to try to be replacing me. And it's like, bro, what are you talking about? Where nobody's trying to replace you. This is a tool to keep you from getting carpal tunnel from doing this all day. Okay, come on now. Let's do something. Let's get you something that's going to help you and help me. Let's get us there together. Otherwise, you're going to be DJing all night. I'm going to get tired. You're going to get tired. It's going to feel like a chore. And why, right? And so I'm a whole firm believer that toys are great for sex because
Yes.
most people don't know that 80% of women require external stimulation of their clitoris to reach orgasm, meaning you got to do a little bit of this on the outside with the penetration if you want them to reach orgasm. That's just how many clitorises work. Now, there are some clitorises, a minority of women who can reach orgasm without external stimulation, and that is perfectly normal too. But there is a large majority of people who cannot. And so when you are just poking around down there and you're not stimulating the outer parts, then it's not as pleasurable and it's going to take it's like we're not going to reach orgasm and we're going to have to start faking things. And so that was the other thing that we didn't talk about. And
Not
I want
doing
that tonight, and that is stop faking orgasms. If you want to have better sex, you have to absolutely not ever fake another orgasm in your life. I don't care how long it takes him to get you there. I don't care if you have to pull out a toy and show him to get you there, or her or whoever. You do stop having sex that is not fulfilling. Okay.
Somebody said that their husband doesn't want to use toys because they think black people don't use toys. So what would you say? I have my response.
Okay, I'm sorry. I am a Black woman and I started a whole
And you've been black
business.
all your life.
Been Black my whole life. Started a business selling sex toys, not just to Black women, but to everybody, because everybody uses sex toys. This isn't like I think that men think that sex toys are like these big huge like penis things, and like that we don't need those because we're ladies and the lady doesn't need all of those penis things, right? And it's like, bro, what are you so I have to sell toys that look like this. Let me show you something. Hold on. See this? Does this look like a penis? No, it doesn't look like a penis.
Looks like one of those wall plugins.
It's just a lemon, and it squeezes, and it's kind of cool because the more you squeeze it, the more it vibrates. So it's great. You can put it between your legs and just squeeze your legs, and boom, now you've got vibration with penis also. So like it's a cute little thing. It looks like a lemon. I'll show you guys where I got it from. This is the Mina Limon.
Mina Limon right there.
And I'll put the Mina Life, I think is their I think that's where you can get it from. But this thing right here, it's a rechargeable toy. It's cute. It doesn't look like a penis, and it gives you what you need. And I think the issue is that a lot of men don't understand, like I said, how clitorises work, right? But a lot of women don't understand how clitorises work either. So they go to the sex toy shop, or they go online and they buy something that looks like what they think they need, and then it doesn't work, and then they don't use it, and then their partner finds it, and they're like, what do you need? What is this? What do you need this for? And they're like, I don't even use it. And it's like, but why do you have it? And so anyway, it causes a bunch of problems, and I can see why people would stay away from sex toys.
So we had another question. Oh, go ahead, love. I'm sorry.
But I do think like once they start to see, so in my fellatio workshop, I talk about how to use sex toys to please your partner during fellatio. And I think that might be a really great way for folks to just kind of introduce sex toys as something that's not just for me. Like, this is for you too. See, doesn't this feel good on your balls? Okay. It feels good on me too. See?
You can both use it.
Yeah, that's a good way to kind of introduce.
So we had a question about what to do if you are long distance during the quarantine from, I guess, your quarantine bay. You're not quarantined with quarantine bay.
You have to get creative with the FaceTime, boo. That's with or the Instagram calls or whatever, get creative with the Zoom meeting, whatever it is.
Not the Zoom. Don't do the Zoom.
No. Just make sure it's locked. You got to lock it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lock it.
I just was reading some stories about it, about people, hacking. So
I wish people would stop using that word. It's not a hack. If you posted the link publicly and somebody just clicked on it, it's not a hack. That's not a hack.
No, like with schools, they've had teachers who were like doing lessons, and a hacker went in and showed and uploaded information that wasn't supposed to be there. That's what they were saying.
And for a lot of those schools, they are posting the Zoom link and the password online, on Twitter, on public places. And like, kids are stupid. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I understand we're all trying to use technology for the first time. As somebody who's kind of always offered virtual classes, it's kind of like, duh. Like, but I get it. Like, it's a learning curve. So
it is a big
but maybe don't get freaky over Zoom. Maybe stick to FaceTime or Skype or
Instagram. You said Instagram.
Instagram calling. I mean, that's what we're doing right now. Yes, stick to
Definitely.
that. Yeah, it's all private. So
I think that's the best thing. I think also people are talking about like sexting.
Yeah. I think
what else is
great. Like, I think sexting is good, like an appetizer, right? Sext me at night so I can wake up in the morning and like see, okay, yeah, oh, you were thinking about me last night. Great. And then we can text a little bit more in the morning, but then by the afternoon, I want to see your face. I'm trying to see some body parts. Like, I want to, like, make love to my brain and my eyes. I'm trying to see it all. So anyway, yes, but get creative.
And that's it. Definitely. I say this the same thing. Somebody said sign up for her classes. Definitely. But because you said you're doing virtual classes right now. So when is your next virtual class?
So let me look at this calendar. It is not good to keep a calendar next to your bed, though. That is not a sexy thing. I just want to say that. But look, here's my calendar next to my bed.
Well,
The life of a sex educator is not as sexy as people think. Let's see. My next class is April 11th, and then I have one on the 19th, and then the 24th. These are all Blow His Mind classes, but then I have How to Eat Cake classes also on the 25th and the 26th of April. And then we have Women Uncorked on the 8th and the 22nd. And Women Uncorked is just like this, but we all talk and you all get to put whatever input you want. And we just kind of have wine and have a good time. It's $10 because still got to pay my bills, but it's $10 to have a good time and really learn. You know, I show up as my own, as a person, as a woman, a wife, a
okay.
mom, all that, but also as, you know, a sex educator. So we can make sure that we're disseminating information that is accurate. So.
Yes, I was going to say that's a big thing, accurate. Because it's so many people online right now who are doctors, lawyers, sex experts.
Yeah, with no kind of training or credentials. No, I know. Well, because it's easy to be an armchair expert, right? Everybody got Google. Everybody.
YouTube University.
YouTube University.
That's true. Here's my next one. My next one is make a sex bucket list. So this would be like, once all this is over, like what do you want to do? And this could be like a one-day thing, but what are some, you know, if there are places that you want to go, there's some places that, you know, you want to have sex or you want to do things, like what are those things that you can put down as a bucket list?
I love that. I love that. I would also add to that, right? So we have this on our blog at sexpertconsultants.com/blog. There is an article from a few years ago about how to talk to your partner about sex. And in that blog, and it's on the homepage. So if you go to the homepage, you'll see it. And it's basically a yes, no, maybe fantasy checklist. So it's a list of all the sexual acts you can think of, from anal sex to cunnilingus to analingus to toe sucking, like all of the sexual acts you can think of. And then you and your partner just go down and put yes, no, maybe, or fantasy, meaning like, I fantasize about this, but this isn't necessarily something that I would want to do in real life, right? And you put checks next to giving or receiving, or both, if you like to do that. And then you kind of just switch papers. Like, it's like, hey, so this is, and that's like the very first exercise that we do in our couples pleasure mapping class. So basically, our couples pleasure mapping we do virtually also, and it's basically like it's a way to have a conversation with your partner about what you like or what you want to try during sex without it being like an attack. It's like a very safe space. We build a model of what your ideal sexual experiences look like. We talk about it. We look at places where y'all overlap, where you say, oh, I want to try this. Oh, I want to try this too. And then your homework is to figure out one thing, a few things for you to try in the future, right? And then make time to do it.
Yes.
So yeah,
that's good. I like that.
Yeah. But that's a good start. It's by just doing that yes, no, maybe so checklist. That's so important.
I like that though, because I think it allows you not to really think about it like too deeply. Yeah. You just going, you're just checking. Because I think sometimes when you get into your mind too much, that you're like, oh, if I put this down, what are they going to think? But I guess that goes back to the first one where I said focusing on intimacy, because if you are in a space where you are really open and intimate with that person and being honest, then you're going to be more in a space to say, I can tell you these things, and we're getting to know each other in a different way than just physically. Like emotionally, we're starting to really gain each other's trust and be, I mean, I think sometimes you should have that before, especially living with somebody or whatever during a quarantine. But
100%. Look, I think the problem with us right now is that we're so impulsive, right? When we have a sexual impulse, it's like, oh, yes, I want that. And oh, I'm about to put myself out there. Here it goes. Okay, so as a polyamorous person, I always have to be like, all right, well, when I start to have these urges, is this something that I really want to do, right? Whereas if I were single, it'd be like, yes, I'm gonna just do it. I want to do it. I do what I want. I live how I want. I'm gonna just do it, right? But I have that barrier, that gateway where it's like, do I really want to do this? Like, is this really worth me having to have a conversation about me bringing a partner in? Like, is this really worth it? Do I really want to do this? So I usually give myself a week from the time that I wanted to have sex with a person to the time that I actually do, is it a week of time has passed? Do I still want to have sex with that person? And girl, 8 out of 10 times I don't.
I think that's like also like when I think you have to use that same thought process like when you want to buy, especially now since
When
the
you want to
stores are
buy
closed.
something.
Like
Yes.
that same thought process should be the same. Like, okay, I know I saw this on Amazon, but do I really need this right now? So let me wait a week, and if I come back, yes, I can buy this. Like that makes sense. So it should be the same
Exactly.
thing for
In
your
a week,
partner.
I'm missing it. Yes.
Yes.
But that's also like how you combat impulse. Like
Hmm.
sex is such an easy thing to do, and we're encouraged to do it all the time, and it's such an easy thing to just impulsively do, but then as easily regret it. So because you're like, oh,
Exactly.
I don't even like this person. Like, oh man, and don't let the sex be good, because then it's, oh, I don't even like this person, but the sex was so good. And now you're continuing on a relationship with somebody who you really don't even want to be involved with because the sex is good. Like, oh,
Toxic, toxic dick, toxic dick. You don't want
yeah.
to do that. You
Can I
don't.
tell you about toxic dick though? So toxic dick is really dangerous because of the resolution phase during sex. When I got my certification, I learned about the resolution phase. So you have
Mhm.
the arousal phase, which is like foreplay. You have the plateau phase, which is penetration. You have the climax, which is orgasm. And then after orgasm, a real deep, good, hard orgasm, right? You have it's actually every orgasm, but like especially the deep, hard, good ones, right? You have the
Mhm.
resolution phase, and it's like that period of time where you just love that person. You just feel so close to them. And it's like, I just want to be with you forever and ever and ever. That's a scientific thing. Like the oxytocin and serotonin in your body are going crazy. They're like, yes, these are the love drugs. These are the drugs that make us feel, the hormones that make us feel closer to our partners. When we are
Mhm.
breastfeeding, these are the same hormones that are like, oh, I love my baby so much. Yes, this feels so great.
Yep.
It's the same thing. And so we stay with toxic dick because of the resolution phase. We think the resolution phase is love, and it's not, because it only lasts like 7, maybe 20 minutes max. Then what?
Then you gotta go. Then you
Then
gotta
you
go.
crying till the next resolution phase. Okay, that's not toxic. Okay, I don't know who
That
needs
is
to hear this,
hella
by the way.
toxic.
Somebody needs to hear this. I don't know if you listening, girl. I hope you hear me. Okay. Anyway.
And if you watch the replay, hear it loud and clear. Write it down. You needed to hear it. You needed to hear it.
Yes,
But
ma'am.
no, but that's true. That is definitely true. And I think that especially now, since people are like, should I go out of the house or should I stay my ass in the house?
Is dick essential or is it not?
Like I
And
read somebody's mom, it was on like Embracing Black Culture. I love their feed because it's funny as hell. But somebody's mother was telling the mother was like, don't take your ass out and go over to that raggedy ass house to see that little boy or see that little boy. She was like, Mom, that's my boyfriend. She was like, I don't care. You're supposed to be in the house because she was like, you're not going over there for some little raggedy dick. It was something crazy. And the mother was like going off on her about not going out. She was like, you heard what the governor said? The governor said, keep your ass in the house. So keep your ass in the house.
well,
And I was like, Mom is right. Like, she done told your
well,
ass in the house.
look, orgasms are really good for mental health. And the safest sex you can have is with yourself. And that's all I'm going to say about it.
So there you go. The expert has spoken. Have sex with your damn self
It's
right
a
now.
lot of people out here who do not want to hear that. And I know, I'm sorry, but like,
And wash your hands. Wash your hands. Wash your body, but wash your hands before you have
wash all
sex.
the things, okay? Wash all the places. Your body, your hands, all those things.
Everything. Everything. But
Oh,
oh, somebody said they need to talk to you after this. My next one's
yes,
like,
ma'am.
yeah, listen. Um, create a sexy atmosphere. Like literally
Yeah.
get your candles, get the music going, you know, put on something, get out your pajamas, get out your daytime pajamas, maybe not put
Yeah.
on your nighttime pajamas, but put on something, you know, in between. And really create that atmosphere. Even if you were by yourself, you could still do this when you light candles, you know, incense, get some, you know, music that you love that makes you feel like you're in the mood, and just do that. Like this is the time to really, you have the time. Just tell them stay out the bedroom, or if you're, you know, if you're with a partner, or if you're not, like say, don't come in here. I'm putting some stuff together, you know, and do something like that.
Yeah,
Hello?
I feel the same way. I think it's definitely that's tapping into all five of your senses, right?
Mm-hmm.
Learning what your sexuality is, what makes you feel good, lights, sound, taste, touch, smell.
Mm-hmm.
What? Yeah, I agree. Those are really good. That's a really good one. Have a sensual date with yourself,
Writing it down.
especially if you're single.
Mm-hmm.
Harder to do when you got people in the house. Although I will hide out in the basement. I will take my flight to the basement and hide out. I've known to do it, honey. We are on day 16.
It don't feel the same because it's been
Oh,
longer than it. So my next one is definitely like watch porn together. I think that is something that you could do. And I've heard people do this and say that they've tried things out, like they tried to see what was on the screen, and then I don't know about that because you might want to do some yoga moves, you know, stretch your body
not some
out. You know.
stretch your body. Shut up, girl. I think yes. I think you should watch porn together, but I think you should talk about it first because
Okay.
I would hate for your partner's taste in porn to turn you off, right? Because if he's like, I want to watch threesomes, and you're like, I don't want to watch women on each other, then that's not gonna go how you want it. So you just have a conversation first. I think
That'll
it's
make the
really
whole move. That's the end of that right there. And you can't leave because y'all stuck in the house. So that's true.
have a conversation first. Oh,
That's true.
yeah.
That's true. I didn't think about that, but that's true.
Mm-hmm.
All right, my next one is get competitive. And I guess that goes with like the playing a game, but do something competitive where you have to, I don't know, it could be do like a game show together or something like that. Or, you know, they have those things you put on your head with the phone and you have to guess certain things. Just do something to get that competitiveness going.
But don't get too competitive and don't beat them in Call of Duty.
Oh Lord. Well, what's the other game they always play? Basketball game.
Madden or whatever.
Man, yes.
2K. 2K.
Yes.
Don't beat them in 2K. Don't do it. Don't do
That'd be whoo, could you imagine? Be mad for 2 weeks. 2 weeks. And then you're like, I don't want no food. You're like, okay.
I want nothing from you.
It says moral of the story is communication. Definitely true. Oh yes, but be realistic about what's happening. Let me see. What's happening to your experience, which is true. Definitely true.
Very true.
What was my other one? Leave the lights on. That's simple.
All right, but for some people, leaving the lights on is like, no, we're not about to have sex with the lights on. Turn them damn lights out. Turn the lights out. Because we're all dealing with shame in some way, shape, or form. And like when the lights are on, it's like,
True.
all right, you can see everything. No, turn them lights out.
That's true. That's true.
So, but I mean, again, I think it's really about your experience, right? If you have no
Yeah.
problem with turning the lights on, and turn the lights on. If your partner has no problem with turning the lights on, then that could be a really sexy, intimate, very like love-making, passionate thing. But I just think about, I've definitely had moments in time in my life where I was like, if I turn them lights off, especially right after the baby, turn them lights off.
But you get to that.
I understand now that was like my own issues that I had to work out in therapy with body image and all that, right? But keep the lights off.
It's real. Like these are real conversations that we have to have.
Yeah.
Because you understood exactly what that was, so you were able to then make a plan to really get back to yourself. So
Yeah.
that somebody needs to hear that too, because that's a real conversation. Like I was feeling, even as you are an expert, you understood that I need to get help with
Yeah.
this because
Yeah.
this is going to affect everything, not
Yeah.
just me, but everybody and everything around me.
Yeah. And I mean, look, I have my weight fluctuates. Like I
Hmm.
get big, I get small, I get some way too small, I get, nice and plump. And like it's been a journey for me, I think, in just really learning to love myself and
Hmm.
everybody else. Like, I had to really unpack a lot of the I didn't consider myself to have like a mother wound. People always talk about like how their mothers hurt them. I love my mother. I'm very close with
Hmm.
her. Look just like her. Like she is like my best friend. I love her. So I didn't consider myself to have any kind of mother wound. But my grandmother, after whom I'm named,
Hmm.
right? Got my name from, she is the original Reba the Diva. We got some body image issues, right?
Yeah.
That have been inherited from just
Hmm.
the old guard's way of thinking. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? And I think that old guard way of thinking really did, it was about self-preservation and like protection of self, but we don't live in those times. And
Hmm.
so, I've had to learn how to hold space for my mother because she's still healing from some trauma from
Hmm.
that, and then hold space for myself because I'm healing from the indirect trauma, you know what I mean? And so
Hmm.
it's not, and when I say trauma, I don't mean like, oh, she was never